In October last year, we put out a post on YouTube asking you for help with a postur bora recipe. Coming from a Bangal household, I had honestly never eaten postur bora before, so we thought, why not combine all of our knowledge to create one ultimate video? Over 300 of you emailed us with not just your family recipes, but ingenious tips and techniques for perfecting postur bora. We went through all of your lovely emails, feeling constantly grateful for your love and generosity, took notes, and tried out your recipes and techniques. In the short span of this video, we will try our best to document as much of our collective knowledge as possible. Making postur bora is an expensive affair. We went through several kilograms of the stuff. Luckily, our video sponsor this week, JK Spices, produces some of the best quality posto in the Indian market, and they helped us score the enormous quantities of posto we were going through every week. JK Spices also has a discount for Bong Eats viewers, so if you buy any spices from jkcart.com, use the coupon code BONGEATS during checkout. The coupon code is valid until 31st of March 2021. Now let's move on to the recipe. The first step to making postur bora is grinding the posto. The posto should not be ground too fine, otherwise the bora will turn into a solid pasty disc. In fact, this is what happened to us on our first attempt. It happened in spite of all of your warnings. Very little water should be added during grinding so that the ground posto can be formed into boras. Almost all of you agreed that grinding the posto on a stone shilnora allows maximum control over the texture. But for the sake of convenience and with some practice, it is also possible to grind posto in an electric grinder. Neither of us are very good with the shilnora. Shameful, I know, we are trying to learn. So we are going to use the grinder. Every grinder is different, so it takes 1 or 2 attempts to figure out how long to grind to get the right texture. There are 3 posto grinding techniques that most of you mentioned. Number 1, soak the dried posto in water for a few hours, then drain the excess water and grind until it forms a coarse paste. The next 2 methods don't require any prior soaking of posto seeds. Dry grind the posto seeds in short pulses, then add a few teaspoons of water and grind again until a thick, coarse paste forms. The third method is very similar to the second method in that the posto is dry ground first, but in this method, water is never added to the grinder. The ground posto is directly mixed with the other ingredients and then water is added and mixed in the bowl. This third method is definitely our favorite. It lets you control the water when you mix it by hand. It also makes the grinder jar easier to clean. If for some reason you end up with a paste that is thin, you can adjust by adding a filler. The most commonly recommended fillers were rice flour, corn flour, plain flour, etc. Basically something that thickens the paste but has a neutral flavor. An ingenious suggestion was to use finely crushed muri, that is puffed rice, instead of rice. In terms of the flavors that can be added at this stage, we will show you 3. Many of you suggested grinding the posto with some green chilies for flavor and heat. Now this can be added even if you plan to add chopped chilies later on. Dried red chilies can also be added for a different kind of flavor and heat. Another interesting variation is to use 1 part of til, that is sesame seeds, for 2 parts of posto. The sesame seeds add a nice depth of flavor to the bora. Last but one of our favorite variations is to toast the posto seeds on a hot pan for a minute before grinding. The toasted posto seeds have a nuttier flavor which you may prefer. It is worth trying once. Enough with the theories and variations for now. Let's make the most basic version of postur bora first. This is the postur bora for the purists. This version really lets the posto flavor shine. The outside is crispy and brown while the inside remains creamy. Now, some of you like your poster batter to be a little more wet, which means that the inside of the bora is going to stay even more moist. If that is what you prefer, you will not be able to shape your boras into clean rounds. Instead, they will be a little ragged around the edges, and that is also fine. Most of you agreed on a range of 5 to 8 boras per 100 grams of posto. With this size, each person gets a few boras per head. Another way to go was to make one large bora per person with a fistful of posto bata. We tried this and loved the contrast of crisp crust and the soft interior. It is a generous dose of posto, so don't operate heavy machinery afterwards. The second recipe we will look at now is the one that was the most popular. This has all the ingredients of the first recipe with some additions. This recipe adds chopped onions and unrefined mustard oil for some pungency, as well as grated or chopped coconuts for flavor and texture. We love this version very much. This is mostly ornamental. Rolling the formed bora in some whole posto gives it a beautiful appearance. It also adds some crunch. There were lots of other interesting additions that many of you like in your posto bora. We tried all of them. Let's look at a few. Ginger, finely chopped or ground with the posto. Garlic, chopped or ground with the posto. Chopped cashew nuts taste quite nice too. Raisins can be chopped and mixed in the paste. Alternatively, place a raisin in the center when forming the poster bora. The sweetness of the raisin creates a nice contrast with the salt and the heat. Quite a few of you like adding kalo jire, that is nigella seeds, to the paste. Some of you like adding bhaja shada jire or toasted cumin seeds instead. One excellent suggestion was adding some yellow mustard paste. As you can imagine, posto and shorshe go very well together. We don't like cooking exactly the same way every day, so just knowing all these variations are possible makes everyday food a lot more exciting. This recipe is a mix between daler bora and posto bora, and we plan to make this alongside amer tok dal or panta bhat in summer. Let's move on to the final variation that we also really loved. When we had put out the post on YouTube in October, we did not expect so many of you to share your recipes with us. We have read each and every one of your emails and have tried our best to incorporate your suggestions. So how did you like this format? Do you think we should turn this into a separate series? Let us know in the comments. Also, this is the first video filmed in the new Bongit's kitchen, which we are pretty excited about. We are sorry we have not been regular with our uploads. We will be posting regularly at least twice a month starting April this year. Thank you for staying with us. See you soon.